What if your legs are trying to warn you right now, tonight, that a stroke is already building inside your body? Not tomorrow, not years from now. Right now, as you sit or lie down, your legs could be sending signals most people completely ignore. And here's what makes this so dangerous. A stroke doesn't always begin with dizziness or a sudden headache. It often starts quietly, in your legs. According to the American Stroke Association, nearly 80% of strokes are preceded by warning signs that people dismiss calm. They look at me and say, "Doctor, I did notice something in my legs. I just didn't think it mattered." It matters more than most people realize. That tingling you felt last week, the cramping that woke you at 2 a.m., the heaviness in your legs, these could be your body's final warnings before something catastrophic happens. I've spent over 2 decades working with patients who survived strokes. And when I review their history afterward, the same thing happens every single time. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what to look for. 8 specific signs that appear in your legs at night. My mission has never been simply to treat the aftermath. It has always been to give people the knowledge they need before the emergency room becomes their only option. Because the truth is this, most strokes are preventable, but only if you know what to look for, and only if you act early enough to make a real difference. I want to tell you about a patient I'll call Gerald. He was 67, a retired school teacher who walked every morning and had no known history of heart disease. He came to my office not because he feared a stroke. He came because his wife insisted. She had noticed Gerald waking up almost every night, rubbing his left leg. He couldn't explain the numbness. He dismissed it for months. The mattress, his sleeping position, just age. He had an answer for everything except the right one. By the time I examined him, what I found was deeply concerning. His circulation was compromised. Early signs of arterial narrowing were all, and he had 6 of the 8 signs I'm going to share with you today. Gerald did not have a stroke, but he came within a very narrow window of having one. We intervened in time, but I think about how differently that story could have ended if his wife hadn't pushed him to come in. Don't wait for someone to push you. Today I'll walk you through 8 warning signs that appear in your legs at night. 4 signs that research has directly linked to elevated stroke risk. Each one has a specific biological explanation. Each one is something you can check for tonight. Let's go through them one by one, starting right now. According to the CDC, stroke is the 5th leading cause of death in the United States and poor circulation and The good news, identifying these signs early gives you a real window to act. And action at this stage can genuinely change your outcome. Every week we publish information your doctor may not have time to explain. If this video is resonating with you, type the number 1 in the comments. Know someone who needs this? Type 2. The first sign is numbness or tingling in one leg, or not both specifically at night or while you're resting. They shift, they shake it out, and they move on. But here's what's actually happening when this occurs regularly on one side and doesn't resolve quickly. Your brain controls leg sensation through a continuous stream of nerve signals. When blood flow to a specific brain region, the result is a sudden, one-sided numbness that has nothing to do with your sleeping position. It has everything to do with what's happening inside your arteries and your brain. Think of it like a power outage in one neighborhood. The rest of the city still has lights, but one block goes dark. That's exactly what's happening A study published in the journal Stroke found that one-sided numbness in the limbs is among the most commonly reported precursors to ischemic stroke. My recommendation, if you experience regular one-sided tingling at night, keep a simple log. Note the time, the side, and how. The second sign is leg cramps that wake you from sleep, intense, sudden, with no obvious cause like dehydration or overexertion. But when these cramps happen regularly, and especially alongside other signs on this list, the cause may be far more serious than nothing. What's actually happening? When arterial blood flow to your legs is compromised by plaque buildup, your muscles stop receiving adequate oxygen. Think of it like a car engine not getting enough fuel. It sputters and misfires even when you're not pushing it hard. That's your leg. Research published in the Journal of Vascular Surgery found a significant correlation between nocturnal leg cramps and peripheral artery disease. The third sign is a persistent feeling that one leg is heavier, weaker, or harder to move than the other. My recommendation, if you're having unexplained nighttime cramps more than twice a week, ask your doctor about an ankle brachial index test. Most people blame how they slept, a rolled position, a tweaked muscle, but this doesn't explain why it happens night after night. The 7th sign is a sudden, persistent coldness in one foot or lower leg that appears at night. What's actually happening is a disruption in the motor signals your brain sends to your legs. Even minor oxygen reduction to one brain hemisphere. What's actually happening? When an artery supplying your leg begins to narrow or a clot partially obstructs, think of it like a dimmer switch turned down on just one side of the room. The lights don't go out piv, but they're noticeably dimmer, and nothing you do makes them fully bright again. A landmark study in JAMA Neurology identified unilateral Lyme weakness as one of the most significant early warning signs of impending ischemic stroke. My recommendation: each morning, stand and deliberately compare how each leg feels. If one is consistently weaker or... Before I continue with the remaining 5 signs, I want to ask you something directly. Is there someone in your life who has mentioned something strange about their legs at night and brushed it off? If this is helping you see your body differently, type the word stroke in the comments. And please hit the like button. The 4th sign is a change in the appearance or texture of the skin on your lower legs. Skin that looks shiny or discolored. Share this video with them right now, not later out. Right now. The signs I'm about to cover are the most frequently missed in people. Most people assume these are cosmetic changes: aging skin, dry weather, poor moisturizing. But your skin is one of the most visible. Think of it like a plant not getting enough water. The leaves change color and lose texture long before the plant visibly wilts. What's actually happening? When blood flow to your lower extremities is chronically reduced, tissues begin receiving less oxygen. My recommendation: once a week, examine your lower legs in good lighting. Look for asymmetry, unusual color, or texture differences. Research in the European Journal of Vascular and Endovascular Surgery confirmed that skin changes in patients with peripheral arterial disease. The 5th sign is swelling in one leg is not both path that worsens by evening and especially when you lie down to sleep. But one-sided swelling that persists, worsens at night, and has no clear cause is a different matter. It could involve a deep vein thrombus. DVT is one of the most dangerous and under-recognized contributors to stroke risk. A clot in a deep leg vein can travel upward. Think of it like a blockage deep inside a water pipe within your wall. You can't see it, but the pressure it creates shows on the surface as a bulge. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine established a clear association between deep vein thrombosis and cryptogenic stroke. My recommendation: if you notice persistent one-side swelling, press gently into the area. If an indentation remains, most people recognize this as restless leg syndrome and assume it's just a sleep nuisance. But emerging research has changed how medicine understands this in relation to stroke risk. The 6th sign is an overwhelming urge to move your legs at night. A crawling, pulling, or throbbing sensation deep inside. What's actually happening? When blood flow to peripheral nerves in your legs is chronically reduced, a direct consequence. Think of it like a faulty fire alarm triggering not because of fire, but because the sensors themselves have been damaged. A major study published in the journal Neurology found that individuals with restless leg syndrome had a significantly elevated risk. My recommendation: if restless legs are disrupting your sleep more than 3 times a week, ask your doctor for a cardiovascular risk assessment. Most people assume cold feet are a general circulation issue. Thicker socks, a warmer room. But when the coldness is confined, think of it like a radiator with its supply pipe partially blocked. Every other radiator in the house is warm. My recommendation: place your hand on both lower legs and compare the temperature directly. If one is consistently colder than the other at night, research published in Circulation confirmed that acute limb ischemia shares many underlying mechanisms with ischemic stroke. The 8th and final sign is muscle weakness in one or both legs that is most pronounced at night or upon waking. Most people attribute this to aging or deconditioning, but there's a crucial difference between gradual, symmetrical weakening that comes. What's actually happening? The motor pathways between your brain and your legs are being disrupted. Think of it like a telephone line with increasing interference. The calls still go through PAP, but the connection degrades week by week. A study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that progressive lower extremity weakness in adults over 60 is a significant. My recommendation: if your legs feel weaker at night than they did 6 months ago, especially if asymmetrical low, ask your doctor about. Let's bring everything together. You now have information most people will never receive. Not because it exists, but because no one took the time to. 8 warning signs in your legs at night. 1. PAV. 1 tav, warho to resolve. One-sided numbness or tingling. 4 love, shiny, tight, or discolored skin on your lower legs. 5 one-sided swelling that worsens by evening. The question is what you do with them, Prof. Starting tonight. Lie down, close your eyes, and pay attention to how your legs feel. That awareness, Prof, that simple act of paying attention to your own body, Prof, is where prevention genuinely begins. Second pry, subscribe and turn on notifications. Our next video covers 5s that silently damage your... And third, Dodo, I want to leave you with this. Knowing is not enough. Acting on what you know, making the call. 7 wear, persistent coldness in one foot or leg that won't respond to warmth. 8 nair, nighttime muscle weakness making standing or walking. Now I have 3 requests before you go. First, what? Share this video on Facebook or send it directly to someone you love who has mentioned something strange about their legs.